Let your applique skills bloom. This project features a floral medallion, which is a perfect place to try simple thread painting.
And we'll show you how to frame your medallion with a combination of mitered and piece borders for the perfect setting.
Let's stitch a festival of tulips on this episode of Love of Quilting.
Hi, you're watching the new series of Love of Quilting. I'm Angela Huffman.
And I'm Sarah Gallegos.
And Sarah, you have brought a great quilt with a great backstory.
I feel like last season you sort of challenged me to bring a little bit more like Michigan theme into my projects. So this little table topper or wall hanging is called Tulip Festival, which of course is an annual tradition in Holland, Michigan, where they have just gads of gorgeous tulips of every color you can imagine. It's really fun.
My mom's been up there and she loved it.
Oh, neat.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I've got this fun little table topper here, or like I said, wall hanging, it could be either. And we get to play with a couple of fun techniques here. So there is some fusible applique involved. Right. And for stitching that down, you can always use the good old standby blanket stitch. But I've kind of been trying to get a little bit more into free motion quilting, inspired by my friend Angela. And I have found like a new simple starter method that I wanted to share with everybody.
Let's do it. All right, I'll put this over here. So we need that center block.
Exactly. So here we've got our center background piece. And on the back of this, because I'm going to do some stitching, we need to stabilize the fabric a bit. So I've got a fusible stabilizer behind it. It's fusible on one side, just soft on the other. It's a mesh type. I use it for embroidery and for decorative stitching all the time because I can leave that right in the project. It gives body to support the stitching, but does not change the hand of the project in the end.
And I wanted to mention too, if you look, the size of the stabilizer wasn't exactly the size you needed, so we just put an extra strip on there. And it's all
just
good.
abut it next to each other. I do usually leave a little bit of a gap too around the edges, just so that when I sew that 1/4 inch seam to put it all together, I don't have the stabilizer and the bulk in the seam. I like that. So, and then you can still quilt it with batting as well.
All right, so we have to put the tulips on.
Exactly. So what we've got here, what I like to do, there are 4 tulips that are kind of meeting diagonally. So I like to just give a good press, and you can touch that with the iron.
With the iron?
Like.
Okay.
Yeah, or even finger press. And that's just going to show me where to position my little tulips and my stems.
Okay, there's that one.
And let's go the other direction as well. There you go.
All right. So even though it's fusible, you can still, because it won't stick to itself, because it's fusible on only one side.
Only on one side. So you do want to make sure you look for that shiny side. That's what goes on the back of the fabric. And you might use, you know, a little protection for your iron as well. So there we go. And we'll start with looking at the stems. So this is a fusible applique method. I have traced the first stem onto the paper side of a fusible web, which I've already glued to the wrong side of my stem fabric. And then we can just cut that out. Really easy.
And I was going to say, because you used a solid on this, you don't have to remember like which is the wrong side, which is the right side.
Correct.
A lot of times with solids, it just doesn't matter.
Sometimes we get a little confused with our solids and are not sure which side is which, but you don't have to worry so much about it.
And so you're cutting right on the line.
Exactly. And of course, you could also use a rotary cutter for this as well. So easy. Then we're going to peel off the paper. So we've already done most of them, but it just peels right off, and now we can fuse it. So I like to kind of take a few of the pieces. It's kind of like we're building a little jigsaw puzzle here.
Yeah.
And before I really fuse it down, I just position everything at once. So we've got this little center piece that goes right in the middle, and then our stems are going to come out of that center piece, and I'm following my diagonal.
Kind of tuck them in about a 1/4 of an inch, so they're a 1/4 of an inch under that center piece.
Exactly. I'm going to switch to this one because I didn't cut the other one super duper straight.
Oh, yeah. And what's nice is it's repositionable, right? So the fusible web, if you change your mind, you can lift it up and move it over.
It's sticky for a minute, but you can definitely reposition. Then come our little pretty tulip heads here, but we want to make sure when we position these that we're leaving space on the edges, because we do have our 1/4 inch seam, and you might not want that exactly touching the next border. So just give yourself, a 1/2 inch or so. And then we're just laying them all out. So yeah, so just peel that paper right off. Lay them on.
And I'm like looking at where the line comes out the top of the tulip and the
Centering.
bottom and making sure that it's not wonky.
Yes. Good
Yeah.
idea. And of course you could, measure the edges if you like. I kind of like a little bit more freeform look, especially when I'm working with something that's nature inspired, right? Nothing's perfect in nature either. Then we've got our little leaves that go
more.
on. Oops, it stuck to you.
And there it goes.
It likes you.
Yeah.